You don't need motivation. What you need is discipline. You need struggle. You need to wake up tired and still show up, because the world doesn't care about your reasons. It only recognizes results. You don't need comfort. You don't need a pause. What you need is to snap out of this lazy story you keep telling yourself. You've convinced yourself you're trying, that you're doing your best, that maybe success just needs more time. No, that's the biggest lie you keep feeding yourself. You're not doing everything you're capable of. You're not even close, and deep inside you feel that. You're not functioning at 100%, not even near 60%. You're crawling through life in this safe little loop, hiding behind labels like burnout and confusion and figuring it out. What you really need is to admit that you're being soft and stop pretending it's okay to settle. I'm not saying this because I'm against you. I'm saying this because I know what you're made of. You think you're sad. You think you're stuck. Try working 16 hours a day on a dream nobody supports. Try training until your body aches and still walking in like you own the place. And that's what I did. That's what real men do. We don't sit and pray for change. We force it. We get it done with pain, with silence, with grit, with discipline. Motivation is pointless. It comes and goes. It disappears when life gets hard. But discipline, that's the weapon. That's the secret edge. That's what separates the man who builds empires from the one scrolling Instagram hoping life changes on its own. And here's something no one wants to say anymore. Life is a battlefield. You don't get what you wish for, you get what you're willing to bleed for. Most of you haven't sacrificed enough to earn anything real. You say you want to win, but your actions say otherwise. You oversleep, you skip the grind, you avoid risk, you talk more than you work, you dream more than you execute. Then you wonder why nothing's changing. You've never gone to bed so drained you couldn't move. You've never looked in the mirror and asked, did I give it everything today? If you had, you'd already be moving forward. Here's the truth, and you need to face it. It's not too late. I don't care how low you feel. I don't care how far behind you think you are. If you're still breathing, you still have time. Time to flip the script. Time to become dangerous. Time to earn respect. Time to build value. But the clock is ticking. Every hour wasted is gone forever. There's no pause, no rewind. This is your one chance, your one life. And you're letting it slip while drowning in distractions. The moment you finally accept that no rescue is coming, your life will truly begin. No one owes you a thing. Not your family, not society, not the system. If you want to rise, you do it through effort, through struggle, through sacrifice. Once that's carved into your brain, once you stop whining and start building, you'll be unstoppable. It's not about being perfect, not about being the smartest. It's about being unbreakable, about never quitting, about rising every single time life knocks you flat. And don't get it twisted, life will knock you down. It will test your will. It will slap you in the face, kick you when you're low, and laugh while you fall. That's not unfair. That's life. But in those moments, when you're down to nothing, when nobody claps for you, that's where the real warrior is made. Not in comfort, not in success, in the pain, in the failure, in the silence. That's where greatness begins. So if you're struggling right now, good. It means you're in the fire. It means you're being reshaped into something tougher, something unshakable. Let this be the last day you lie to yourself. No more excuses, no more blaming, no more waiting for the right moment. The right moment is now. This is your life. You either take control or keep drifting. Not next week, not when it's easier. Now. Become who you were meant to be. Build the discipline, shape the mindset, master the body, own your world. Because if you don't, someone else will. And when they take everything that could have been yours, don't cry, don't complain. Just accept that you chose comfort over power. You picked soft over strong, easy over legendary. But if you're ready to fight, truly fight, then welcome. Welcome to the war. Now move. Get to work. People see me today and think I was born into this. Fast cars, luxury suits, private jets, stacks of cash. They assume I got lucky, that I just walked into success. But they didn't see the nights I went to bed starving, the mornings I trained with nothing but hunger and belief. What they see now is the reward. What they never saw was the fight. I had no help, no connections, no rich parent, just raw will and the refusal to fold. You say you're struggling? Good, that means you're on the right road. But let me be clear, struggle only becomes power when you decide you're done being weak. When I had nothing, I didn't sit around crying. I didn't post about my problems. I got mad. I got disgusted with who I'd become. I said, this isn't you. This isn't your legacy. And instead of asking the world to give me a hand, I went out and crushed it. Every morning I was up before dawn. I trained like a machine. I studied like a man possessed. I worked until I couldn't stand. No breaks, no weekends, no comfort, just relentless building, even when it felt pointless, even when no one cared. That's when you push the hardest, when the world doubts you, when your own thoughts beg you to stop. That's when you double down. I had times I couldn't afford food. I fought for scraps, trained in a cold, broken gym. My bank account was a joke. Friends faded, calls went unanswered. I walked into rooms and people acted like I didn't exist. That silence, that rejection, it became my fuel. I told myself, they don't see you now, but they will. I took that pain and turned it into energy. I let it shape me into someone they'd never ignore again. Not from hate, but from certainty. I knew I was born for more and I was ready to destroy any limit in my way. Success isn't born in luxury. It's born in stillness, in solitude, in those quiet days when no one sees you, no applause, no validation, just you, choosing to rise anyway. That's where strength is formed. I've been in freezing rooms, punching walls, hungry and lost, trying to solve the puzzle, but I never gave up. I studied money. I trained past my limits. I gave up comfort for clarity. I built my mind. Slowly, it all started coming together. I turned pain into energy, failure into direction, rejection into fuel. It wasn't magic. It wasn't inspiration. It was a choice, a decision to become untouchable, so strong that nothing, not failure, not doubt, not isolation, could break me. Let me tell you something real. The day I bought my first luxury car, it wasn't joy I felt. It was confirmation, not from others, from myself. That moment represented everything, not the car, but the journey. It meant the nights I worked instead of sleeping mattered. It meant every time I walked alone while others laughed, I was right to keep going. It meant the pain had meaning. And I realized then the car wasn't the prize. I was the man I had become, the man who never gave in. That's the truth you need to see. Life isn't fair. No one's handing you anything. But that's not a curse. It's a gift. Because it means you don't need approval. You only need a decision. You can choose right now to push harder, wake earlier, train smarter, learn faster. You can choose to be addicted to growth. Yes, it'll cost you sleep. It'll cost you people. You'll be judged. You'll be mocked. But in the end, none of that matters. That's what will matter. Because when you're finally driving the life you created, when you glance around and realize you're truly free, financially, mentally, physically, you'll understand it was all worth it. Every scar, every failure, every isolated night, they shaped you, they challenged you, and you made it through. I didn't end up here by chance. I worked for this. I carved it from nothing with blood and grit. And if you're ready to do the same, not just talk, not just dream, but actually sweat and sacrifice, then this life can be yours too. There's nothing extraordinary about me, just focus, just discipline, just a fire that never goes out. And the best part, you can build all of that. You can train your mind for it. So stop feeling sorry for yourself. Stop stalling. Your story's already being written. The only question is whether it ends in regret or in dominance. You don't see it, but you're closer than you think to dying as an average man. That's the most terrifying truth. You walk through life like there's time left, like greatness can wait, like the world's going to pause until you catch up, but it won't. Life doesn't stop if you're lost, exhausted, anxious, or broke. It keeps going. And if you don't move with it, it will leave you behind, buried under your own excuses. One day, you'll open your eyes and realize there are no more do-overs. Your youth will be gone, your options faded. All that'll remain is a mountain of what-ifs and a deep, hollow regret that you could have been something more. That's the real death for most men. Not the body, but the soul. A death caused by delay, by comfort, by playing it safe. Every day you waste is a day gone forever. That should shake you. Because the truth is, you're not trapped. You're just choosing to stay where you are. And deep down, you know it. You know you could push harder. You know you could demand more from yourself, but instead you lie. You numb that inner voice, distracting yourself with comfort, with fake highs, with empty habits. And every time you do that, you betray who you're meant to become. That voice you're ignoring, that's your future self. That's the man you were meant to grow into. And every time you waste an hour, you kill a piece of him. You think there's no price for laziness, but there is. It's slow, quiet, and it devours you from the inside out. Just look around. Most people are barely present in their own lives. They consume instead of create. They react instead of build. They've accepted being average like it's their fate. They dread Mondays, cheer for Fridays, because they've constructed lives they secretly resent. Is that what you want? To simply exist instead of lead, to follow when you could dominate? Here's the harsh truth. If you're not obsessed with becoming better, you're falling behind. There's no such thing as standing still. Time won't freeze for you. It either sharpens you or exposes your weakness. The longer you wait, the more it costs you. Not because life becomes tougher, but because your habits get softer. Your standards drop. Your ambition fades. That's the trap. You don't just stay in one place, you slide backwards, thinking you're holding ground. You want motivation? Imagine being 60, looking back at your life and realizing you played it safe. You never chased the hard path. You never pushed beyond your fear. You never lived up to that boyhood dream of being someone powerful. You played it small, stayed quiet, followed the rules, and it led you nowhere. That future version of you, he'll hate you. He'll replay every moment you hesitated like a horror film on repeat. And here's the worst part. You won't be able to change it. Time will have shut the door that should send chills through you. Because that future, it's waiting right around the corner, unless you do something now. The world doesn't reward maybes. It rewards proof. It doesn't care how smart you are, how much potential you think you have, or how many goals are sitting in your head. It only respects action, results, impact. That's the game. And you're either playing to win, or you're sitting on the sidelines. Every second you're not moving toward your purpose, someone else is. And one day when you wake up, you'll realize they built the life you wanted, but you weren't willing to fight for it. That's why I don't take days off. That's why I treat every morning like it's life or death. Because in many ways it is. Every day you're weak, your future dies a little more. You want the truth? You're not scared of failing. You're scared of what success actually takes. The discipline, the weight, the endless commitment. So instead of rising, you run, you scroll, you hide in comfort and fantasy. But here's the thing. Fear doesn't disappear. It grows. It feeds on hesitation. Eventually it owns you, unless you confront it. If you face it and strike back with purpose, you can destroy it. Not instantly, but piece by piece. That's real courage. It's not about being fearless. It's about acting while you're terrified. That's power. Not pretending to be tough, but taking action despite the fear. Most men never realize what they're capable of. Not because they aren't talented, but because they never even try. They die with their gifts unopened, their strength untested, their voice unheard. That's the real failure. Not trying, not evolving, and you're on the edge of becoming just like them. Unless you wake up fully. No more waiting, no more tomorrow, no more excuses that sound pretty but mean nothing. You either go after your purpose like a beast or you live with regret. Life isn't soft, it's brutal, it's a battlefield. Every day you're up against laziness, distraction, and weakness. If you don't fight back, you lose, and the world doesn't pity losers, it forgets them. So decide, either rise with strength and take the life meant for you, or stay soft and watch others live the life you always wanted. The problem with most people, it's not lack of ambition. It's lack of commitment. You say you want success. You talk like you're hungry. You scroll through quotes, watch videos, daydream about riches and freedom. But when it's time to execute, you freeze. You wait, you run to comfort. Then you wonder why nothing changes. It's because deep down, you haven't chosen to be relentless. You haven't drawn that hard line and said, no more. You haven't decided to become unstoppable. Until that switch flips, you'll drift, soft, reactive, unmotivated. Life doesn't reward people who kind of want it. It rewards those who are consumed by it. The ones grinding when nobody sees, building while others sleep. The ones not dreaming, they're dying for it. People love saying, you're lucky. No, I was intentional. I was obsessive. I kept working while others waited. I didn't care about motivation. I cared about results. That's the mindset you need. One that doesn't beg for energy, it creates it. One that doesn't seek praise, it dominates without apology. You want to be great? Then face this truth. Your current life is based on the standards you've allowed. You let laziness slide. You live with mediocrity. You make excuses. You inherit regret. The world won't give you what you fantasize about. It'll only give you what you're willing to fight and bleed for. And most of you haven't bled yet. You're still waiting for some magical permission slip, still looking for someone to tell you it's your time, but no one's coming. No perfect moment is on its way. Time's ticking and it's not waiting for you to feel ready. You need to realize that every second wasted is a second someone else is using to pass you. You're not competing with your friends. You're up against the most elite men on the planet, the ones who train harder, think sharper, and move quicker. They're not sitting around talking. They're taking ground. That's why they win, because they've chosen to make failure their fuel, not their fear. And don't mix up movement with progress. Just being busy doesn't mean you're building. Most people spin their wheels, pretending they're grinding when they're really just avoiding pain. Real success is built through chosen suffering, the kind that strengthens your will and toughens your mind. I didn't get here by staying comfortable. I chased discomfort. I trained when I was exhausted. I learned when I didn't feel like it. I pushed forward even when I was laughed at, doubted, hated. I became bulletproof to the noise. That's the level of discipline you need, where your hunger shuts out opinions, where your vision blinds every distraction. I don't have time for self-pity, and neither do you. Because it doesn't care about your sadness. It doesn't care that you're tired, broke, uncertain, or lonely. You think the universe is going to pause just because you had a bad day? No, it won't. It'll keep spinning. It'll keep testing you. And if you don't push back, it will bury you without hesitation. But if you rise, if you choose to fight through the noise and struggle, you become something rare, something feared, something respected. Because men like that are almost gone. We live in a time where comfort is the new drug and people are hooked. Soft minds, fragile hearts. You're surrounded by weakness. So if you decide to get strong, you immediately stand out. You become valuable. You become undeniable. And that's the first step toward real power. Do you understand how powerful you become when discipline is no longer something you force, but something you are? When you stop needing motivation and start living with purpose? That's when everything changes. That's when life starts to lean in your favor. Success isn't an accident. It's created by men who declared war on their laziness. Men who didn't care if they were afraid or unsure. They moved anyway. And eventually that movement turned into a weapon. That's what you need to build. A storm of progress, a fire inside you so strong that nothing, no failure, betrayal, or exhaustion can slow you down. You move forward no matter what, until life has no choice but to give you what's yours. This moment right here, it's not just another motivational high. This is a mirror, a warning, a challenge. You either take it, rise to it, and change the course of your life, or you ignore it and stay exactly where you are. Remember this. You were born with power, with fire, with the ability to become unstoppable. But that version of you won't show up by accident. He won't show up through laziness or comfort. You have to bring him out, shape him, forge him through repetition, discomfort, and sacrifice. Because that's how men are truly made. Not through ease, but through the fire. Once you've walked through that fire, once you've crushed the weaker version of yourself, nothing will scare you again. You'll become the man who leads, the man who conquers, the man who never folds under pressure. But at some point, you have to stop talking about it. You've read the quotes, watched the clips, listened to all the motivation in the world. Your mind is full of ideas. Now what? None of it matters until you take action. Not next week, not tomorrow, right now. Because here's the harsh truth. Time is running out. Every second you sit in hesitation, the great version of you is slipping away. Every excuse, every delay, every minute you waste scrolling or avoiding is killing your potential. And if that doesn't set fire to your soul, you're already fading. The man you were meant to be is still out there, but he's waiting for you to step up, waiting for you to get serious, to stop being soft, to finally go all in on your purpose. Because no one is coming to hand it to you. No one is going to rescue you from mediocrity. You have to crawl out of it yourself, with grit in your teeth and obsession in your heart. There's no secret trick, no shortcut. No mentor is going to unlock your future for you. It's always been in your hands, your choices, your work ethic, your energy. You keep thinking you need more advice, but what you really need is to confront the part of you that's holding you back. You need to stand face to face with the weak version of yourself, the one who always hesitates, always doubts, always has an excuse ready. That version of you needs to go. That coward, the one who says maybe later, has to be eliminated. He's the wall between you and everything you want. I don't care where you started or how hard your life's been. I've seen men rise from nothing because they refuse to give up. I've seen warriors built from scratch because they chose to outwork everyone. They didn't wait until they believed in themselves. They built belief by moving forward, by acting. And if you're not doing the same, then you're just watching from the sidelines. Just another soft whisper in a loud world. And nobody remembers the soft ones. You need to stop making deals with your emotions. Stop asking yourself how you feel every time it's time to grind. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. If you only move when it's comfortable, you'll always be trapped, controlled by emotion, shackled by comfort. You want strength? Then earn it. Earn it through struggle, through silence, through your war against average, day after day. Because no one cares how clever you are if you don't act. No one cares about your dreams if you don't build them. The only thing that matters is what you do when life gets hard. That's the real test. That's what separates real men, not their words, but how much they can carry in silence. That's the battle you're in. And if you don't rise to meet it, life will crush you and move on without even looking back. And don't fool yourself thinking you can fake it. You might convince your friends, maybe your family, but you'll never fool the man in the mirror. He knows. He knows when you're pretending. He knows when you say you're trying, but deep down you're only giving half. That truth burns. And until you face it, you'll stay stuck. You'll remain a prisoner in your own mental cage. But if you stare down that truth, if you face your darkness and say, I'm done, everything begins to shift. You stop acting like a victim. You stop needing people to approve of you. You begin to transform into something focused, something fierce, something that doesn't shake. And once that shift happens, life begins to rearrange. It makes space for the man who refuses to be denied. So here's what you do now. You make a choice, not a wish, not a fantasy, a real ruthless decision. The kind of decision that cuts away excuse. It draws a hard line that says, I don't shrink anymore. I don't apologize for wanting more. If you want to win, you must become the type of man who lives for it. You can't half step into greatness. You have to throw yourself into it with everything. Wake up with intensity, go to sleep knowing you drained every ounce of effort. You must become the man who says no to weakness, to laziness, to the easy life. Not once, but every single day, until it stops being a decision and just becomes your nature. Because once that kind of dedication takes over, nothing can stop you. You become the man who doesn't chase, he attracts. Who doesn't plead, he builds. Who doesn't wait, he moves. And this moment right now, this is it. Your moment to flip the switch. Draw your line. No more talking, no more dreaming. It's time to turn your frustration into motion, to turn your pain into power, to let every past failure become the gasoline that fuels your rise. You want freedom? Then earn it. You want control? Then take it. You want to become the kind of man who commands respect, who leaves a legacy, who holds the pen to his own story? Then go now, because life doesn't pause for the unsure. It rewards the one who moves forward, scarred, burning, relentless. And that man, that's the one you become, starting now.